Keith!
I am Stevie.
You thought Barbarian was going to be one of those horror movies, right? Creepy Airbnb, weird guy, and a scary basement. But then bam, we cut to Justin Long in a convertible singing about life. And suddenly, you're not in the same movie anymore. Barbarian doesn't just pull a twist, it completely changes genres midstream. It's 3 movies in one, 3 monsters, and one terrifying idea hiding in a basement. So the question is, who is the real villain here? Let's break it all down. Zach Cregger's Barbarian was one of the most surprising horror movies of 2022. It came out of nowhere and had no business being this clever, and somehow became one of the most dissected horror films in recent memory. What makes it hit so hard is its structure. It's not linear. It doesn't follow one protagonist. It starts with a home invasion thriller, then turns into satire, and then dives headfirst into the grotesque, almost fairy tale level nightmare. And through it all, we're constantly re-evaluating who the real threat is.
I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get help. I'm gonna let everybody know what's going on down here. That fucking thing is gonna pay for what it did.
So let's start with Act 1. Tess arrives at a Detroit Airbnb for a job interview. It's pouring with rain, the house is in the middle of an abandoned neighbourhood, and surprise, there's already someone inside. Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård. And right away, the film locks into real-world horror tension. Tess, however, is smart. She's cautious. She checks the bathroom, watches her drink, doesn't immediately trust this guy, and honestly, we're on her side. We've seen how these stories end. Keith, meanwhile, is almost too nice. He makes tea, insists she takes the bed, and awkwardly explains his every move. And that only makes it more suspicious. It's brilliant tension because everything he does could be sweet or sinister. And let's be real, because it's Bill Skarsgård, we've seen that face before. The guy played Pennywise. Those big, intense eyes and the way he can contort his face, it screams horror movie. Or at the very least, a monster. The audience is trained to distrust him, and Zach Cregger knows it. It's intentional misdirection, and it works. Because right when we're expecting Keith to go psycho, his head gets bashed in, out of nowhere. He's not the threat, he's the first victim. And just like that, the movie shifts. Smash cut to sunny California. New movie, new tone. AJ, played by Justin Long, is cruising along the coast, singing Life is Good. And then bam, he gets a call. He's been accused of rape by a co-star. And just like that, you immediately hate him. But also, you're thrown off. Because Justin Long, he's the funny guy, the geeky, harmless one. Think Jeepers Creepers and Dodgeball. He's the guy you normally root for, not the one you're terrified of. And that's the genius of it. AJ becomes the perfect embodiment of a modern monster. He's entitled, he's self-centered, and he sees himself as the victim. He literally finds a hidden torture basement in Detroit and thinks, can I charge extra for the square footage? Seriously? He jokes, fumbles around, and totally misses the danger around him. Just like he misses the damage that he causes in his personal life. Even when he tries to redeem himself later, it's self-serving. He doesn't help Tess out of selflessness. He helps her so that he can feel like the good guy. And by the end, he throws her off a water tower just to save himself. Because that's what AJ is. A smiling, performative nice guy who still chooses himself when it counts.
I can get away, but you're gonna have to slow her down. Hey! Come get your baby!
Then we hit Act 3, and now the horror shifts again. We finally come face to face with the mother. She's enormous, naked, grotesque, but also tender. She calls out Tess, tries to feed her, protect her, rock her to sleep. It's jarring because it's not the horror we'd expected. But once we flash back to the 1980s and meet Frank, everything clicks. Frank is a predator, a serial rapist who built a dungeon under the house. He abducted women, assaulted them, filmed it, and bred them. The mother is the product of that abuse, and her child abuse, and maybe more than one generation of it. She's not evil, she's tragic. She's a child who never got to grow up. A woman who only knows how to imitate what she's seen. Forced motherhood, violence, captivity. She's not the villain, she's the result. She's doing the only thing she knows, trying to nurture in the only way she was taught.
He never left there, and she never left there neither. He used to bring women down there, and then he started making babies with them. And babies with the babies. And you make a copy of a copy of a copy, and you end up with something like that.
And then we come to meet the final monster, Frank. We don't see much of him, and that's the point. He's quiet, old, and weak looking. But he's the architect of everything. He built the tunnels, he started the cycle of abuse, he created the environment where monsters could be born. There's no dramatic kill, no chase scene. Frank just sits there in his bed, surrounded by his tapes, trophies of the women he destroyed. And that's what makes him the scariest. He's not supernatural, he's not theatrical, he's just human, very real and very evil. AJ sees him and thinks they're the same, until Frank kills himself in front of him. Because Frank's story is over, the damage is done, and it's still echoing under the floorboards.
No, wait!
At this point, the film is less about monsters and more about systems. Barbarian isn't just scary because the mother or the basement. It's scary because how normal all of it is. The house looks nice from the outside, clean, updated, cozy even. But it's sitting in a neighbourhood gutted by poverty, neglect and history. The basement is literally where evil lives. A symbol of buried trauma, things society ignores. Tess, our protagonist, survives not because she's the strongest, but because she's the one who listens, who trusts her instincts, who adapts. Everyone else dies because they assume they are in control. Tess is such a refreshing final girl. She's cautious but not paranoid, empathetic but not naive. She makes mistakes but she quickly learns. She also doesn't fall into horror cliches. She doesn't run up any stairs. She doesn't blindly trust. She survives because she pays attention and questions everything. When the mother offers her a bottle, she doesn't scream, she plays along. When AJ tries to justify throwing her, she says nothing, she acts. She survives not by force, but by understanding. So, who is the real monster in Barbarian? Is it the mother, the creature in the tunnels? Is it AJ, the smiling narcissist who thinks he's a hero? Or is it Frank, the quiet man who created the nightmare and then disappeared? Maybe it's all of them. Or maybe the scariest part is how easy it is to ignore these monsters when they look like people we trust. Barbarian is terrifying because it's unpredictable, but it's also unforgettable because it holds a mirror up to real-world horror and dares us to look away. What was your first reaction to Barbarian? Did you spot the twists coming, or did it throw you like it threw me? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because my weapons review is coming soon, and if Zach Cregger pulls this off again, we might have a new horror king on our hands. Thanks for listening to I Am Stevie.
We did it, people.